guess what?
Job 1.
That's right. That's right. We are loud and proud, wearing our hat, and Andy's got his shirt on.
Yep. Look at that.
2024.
Save America.
So, today we are out looking at examples of berms and how people or landscape companies are designing their berms. And as you know, up at our property where the barn was taken, we have this big area opened up to the highway, and we just want to close that in and make it look more residential and attractive. So we're going to take you along our drive, and really just for documenting purposes, so we know what we've seen and what we like. And do you have any thoughts on that, Andy? Because we're in such a different mindset now with not using chemicals, and we just want to make sure we're using the right plants.
Exactly, yes.
Trees.
Definitely like to use plants that are beneficial to us in some way if possible, whether it be health-wise or food-wise would be nice. But we also need to be able to screen. We want it to look more natural than, yes, I could design a landscape berm there and make it look like a landscape berm. And we want it to be more like a farm berm, kind of more natural.
So tell
we're
everybody
gonna just be looking at different plant materials and
where you went earlier this week.
oh yeah, so Cherokee County had their Arbor Day celebration, and even though it's like 2 months away, they have it early because this is a much better time. This is the ideal time of year to be planting trees in Georgia, especially North Georgia. So that's kind of where we are right now. And so visited a couple of different sites that they had free tree giveaways. Now they're little seedlings or saplings. They're only like a foot or two, maybe 3 feet tall at the tallest. But they were given away at several different locations, and each location had a different variety of trees. So, I spent a little bit of time driving around to them and seeing what they had, and hopefully we can make good use of that and beautify the area here. It's going to take a little while. They're not going to grow overnight, but might be a way for us to get started.
So my preference is crepe myrtle, and Andy had pulled up some crepe myrtle trees online just to kind of learn a little bit more about them, since they look so pretty, but wow, it's so much more than just a beautiful tree, as many of our trees are. Share about that.
So looked up the uses and the medicinal uses for crepe myrtle, and was just entirely surprised. Now, the crepe myrtle tree is not native to the state of Georgia. It's native to like Southeast Asia or something like that. But it just has a list as long as your arm, both arms. I think there were 22 different items on there that you can use crepe myrtle, parts of the crepe myrtle for. Whether it's the bark, the berries, the flowers, whatever. So a lot of learning if we want to learn about all these different things that we can use crepe myrtle for. But just interesting because it's such a widely used plant in the landscape around here. It's very beautiful in the summertime. In the winter, it's just a bare tree. But I think we could definitely incorporate some of that in our berm. But that doesn't give us any screening in the wintertime. So we'll have to do a mixed, we're not going to just do all one plant. We're going to do a bunch of different ones and mix them up and have some evergreens and have some deciduous and have some perennials and so forth. So I think it'll look really good in a couple of years. But whatever we do now is going to make it look better than it does. So right now all we have is part of the berm built, and we just have wheat growing on there, and we have clovers growing on there. So kind of just a cover crop to keep the soil actively living, which is real important. We don't ever want to let soil be bare. The sun will just kind of sterilize it for us. We don't really want that, and weeds will take over. So if we plant something that can be beneficial, that's much better for the soil, especially since we're going to want to plant trees and stuff in there, other bushes. It'll help give them a head start as opposed to just starting from sterile scratch soil. So,
all right, so we're going to head on up to our preferred route. It's in an area called Milton, Georgia, and a lot of farm properties and horse, I guess like an equestrian kind of property. I don't know what you would call that.
yeah, they're like estate type properties. They're multi-acre home sites where, you know, it's kind of, we don't have multi-acres, but we have more than an acre. So
Yeah.
we kind of want to resemble that as much as we can, even though we will not have the $2.5 or $10 million house on it. But we would like it to. We like the way that it looks.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know,
Just
modern
more
farmhouse
attractive.
kind of look, and very simple. A lot of blacks and whites, and so.
Yes. So we will drive up there and we'll bring you along. All right. Okay, guys, we pulled off to a subdivision nearby, and Andy's going to just kind of walk through some of these ideas. So, what do we got here?
So these are Nellie R. Stevens hollies here. They get to be big. They have berries on some of them, depending on whether they're male or
Oh,
female.
I like that one with the berries.
They like to be about 20 feet tall. These here are only about 10 feet. And they like to be like 10 or 15 feet wide. So they like to get really big. They're good screens. They're very thick. They're evergreens, hollies. This is Clear here, which is a nice shrub. We have some of these planted on the side of our garage at our house. They're nice, big, full. They get kind of a burgundy kind of tint to them in the winter, and then they're really glossy green in the summer.
Okay.
And then here we've got arborvitae. And these are most likely the evergreen giants. So these will get really big. This is a good way for screening too. It's inexpensive, they grow fast. And they look good. They get a bronzy tint to them in the winter, and they're, you know, pretty green the rest of the year.
So, as you know, we're on a really busy road.
So it's a nice four-wheel
I think this would
fence.
be ideal.
It's just a 4x4 post on there, but pretty high, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the fence blocks out half of the car.
What
you
is
know?
this here?
I don't know what kind of tree that is.
Huh.
I think it's a dawn redwood, but I'm not sure. Which is a deciduous kind of.
There's one over here, too.
Yeah, there's 3 of them here.
So, we're trying to...
Look at the bark. I didn't really
This one too.
plant those ever, but I think that's what that is. And back out and all that, but I don't know that we need to.
So, explain that curving again.
So we'll curve around the corner down there,
Yeah.
and then we can either run straight all the way up through here, and then start to build the curve around here,
Yeah.
or we can add an additional curve. We can bring this curve in here, and then we can curve it back, around, and then back, and then back, like a Phil snake.
Okay.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I just don't know if we want to do all that.
Right. Yep. All right.
So you can see that the little bit of grass we planted here helped out quite a bit, but right there where we stopped, it just started eroding.
Yeah.
So here's this other end of the curve, so we're coming right down here.
So, can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Stand up on the berm. I want to see, like, how tall the tree for the house.
Okay, so where do you want me to stand?
Just stand on the top part of the berm.
Like right about in here?
Yeah. So if we put it, and you'll see, you'll appreciate this. If we put a tree there, because you're pretty wide, yeah.
I'm a tree.
Yeah, that's a good location. It's pretty tall.
If you look, if I'm standing here and we're sitting on the front porch, I'm not blocking the church, but I'm blocking the cemetery.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Do you want to go on the front porch? Take a picture from the front porch of me standing here and tell me if I gotta go left or right?
Yeah.
Do that.
So to the church? Are you trying to be in front of the church? Are you trying to be in front of the church? That's good. It's a good idea. You'll see when you're watching this video replay. I am, well, right now, okay, I'm centered on the steps. Right here, like this. Okay. So, I don't know how wide it is or what, but.
Well, we'll find out right now.
Okay. Okay.
45 feet.
How much?
45 feet.
45, okay.
And that's about even with the peach trees there.
No, it's not.
Well,
Oh, it's not.
you wanted to have because these are going to get bigger and grow out. Like if you had grass
Yeah.
coming across there. and
Yeah,
straight
yeah,
across,
okay.
45 feet for the grass
Yep.
edge,
Okay.
roughly. I hope these weren't hurt by the freeze. This is looking good.
All right.
I need one really high.
Okay.
Really high. Get it up there.
You gonna do it?
There you go. You got it now.
Okay.
So I needed that other concrete right-of-way marker in there
Oh, is it in there?
because this is what we don't own here. We kind of own it. Come here. So this section right here, from here to that stake, all the way down to the orange cone, and back to that concrete, that is an easement area. That
Okay.
means they need to have access to it for whatever.
Okay.
If we build a fence in that area, they can take it down. If we plant trees in that area, they can take them down.
Ah.
So we have to consider that.
Okay.
Not that they ever will. I don't know.
So show me right now where we could have a subdivision sign that would be not in their way and really kind of accent the whole corner here.
Well, back up in there, I guess.
Yeah. Okay, this would be where we would most likely put a subdivision sign or our stone wall that would allow the DOT to get through where they need to get through and kind of dress up this area, maybe even be in front of our house a little bit, or the garden. Okay. Hey, so it is March 9th, I think, 2025, and I am in the truck. And we just picked up our compost for our planter beds. So I'm very excited. As you know, we've been shopping around for trees and getting the berm landscaped better to hide the highway that our property is on. And yeah, so you see Andy in the back, and he is covering up. We got about 4 loads of compost, and I'm very excited because this place that we found, this woman, she composts her, it's a horse farm, so obviously it's the manure, but it's also the alfalfa sprouts. Hold on.
Get the keys.
Okay, sorry. I was falling down on the job of tucking in the tarp over the manure. So anyway, I was just telling everybody how we just picked up the compost and how it's got the alfalfa sprouts in it. And
you drop something there? Oh, thank you.
It's Grazon free, so do your research on that. You're gonna find out that Grazon is something they've been spraying on a lot of our lands. The farmers use it, and yeah. So I'm gonna let Andy kind of handle those details because I'm just a helper today. I'm his employee. No, we work for each other and with each other. So when we get out of here, I'll film him kind of talking through it. Okay, guys, I just wanted to show you like the pile back there. This is how they turn it. So the darker compost is what we want, and that's what we got. But this is, I'll tell you, this is like we just picked up gold, right?
Yes.
There's gold in them thar hills.
There's gold in them there
We're in
hills.
Georgia, all right?
And this is so much better than what you can buy at a landscape garden center. Anything they put in a bag has got so many problems with it.
Yeah, and I did buy some for our seedlings that we're going to be starting here soon. But I'm going to do some further research on that. But I've done a lot. I'm not going to say a name right now. But yeah, we'll see if we like what we find with that. But right now, we're just going to take our gold home. We're going to spend it wisely. Got some, oh my gosh, what a cute pony.
Yeah.
So sweet. What a beautiful day. I mean, it is like 60 degrees maybe.
All right, so we're out here in the middle of nowhere, who knows where, Bartow County maybe? West of Adairsville. And found this couple or whatever selling composted horse manure, bedding for a good price. Did, question with them or whatever about if they've used Grazon or if they get Grazon free hay and all that kind of stuff, and they knew all the right answers. And pretty much we pulled up on the property, we see all the weeds growing, we know they're not using it in their pastures and so forth, and that's what we look for. We look for the property that has all the natural beauty to it. And, it's a huge property that they have there. Lots of horses that they're raising. And it looks like it'll be a good source. Time will tell as we use it this year in our garden. But I think this might be a good source for us. They're feeding the horses alfalfa out of Michigan, which, if I understand, and I'm not really a horse person, but I understand alfalfa hay is like prize hay. It's like gourmet food for horses as opposed to just giving them regular Bermuda grass, which is what they like to do down here, or Mahia, I think, and Rise, or whatever. So I think it's supposed to be a really high dense, nutrient dense hay for the horses. And so what goes in the horse comes out in the horse, and we have it after it comes out of the horse. So hopefully it'll work well for us. We'll, I guess, let you know in our videos in the future, and we'll just give you a heads up on how it's working.
And so also something that y'all need to consider is, I don't know if you touched on this, but the price.
Well, I don't want to give away where they are.
Well, we won't.
So the thing is we could go buy compost at the nursery center, and it's right down the street from us, 2 miles away. But we've looked at all that stuff. And we've looked at it, being a landscape owner and so forth, company owner. I've looked at this stuff years and years ago when I started making our own compost back then. And now that I don't have the company anymore, we're not getting the raw material in to make the compost, so we're having to buy it elsewhere. So I just cannot justify buying it from one of these garden centers or buying it by the bag. I think it was last year we actually bought some bag stuff to do our seed starting mix in, and it's just full of bark and wood chips and stuff that's not composted. And it's not, when you buy it from the store, it's not that it's horrible. It's just not fully composted. So you're not getting what you paid for. And so we were able to get, you can probably see the mound back there. It's not mounted too high, but it's a full pickup truck bed load, which is at least 2 cubic yards. And we paid $40 for it. So that is a fraction of what you would pay if you were buying it by bags. Or even if you buy it by the scoop. I think, you know, if you get the compost and stuff now, depending where you get it and what exactly it is, a lot of people are mixing dirt in with the compost, so it's even less compost. So $35, $65 a yard, $85 a yard I've seen, $95 a yard. You know, the more expensive, supposedly the better the stuff, but this looks like the best stuff that I've seen around in years. So
And affordable.
it's kind of worth the drive. Now, yeah, we're spending $20 in diesel fuel to go there and back, but I think it's the principle of getting the best stuff. Took a nice little drive through the country where we really haven't been before, and so it's an enjoyable Saturday afternoon.
All right, so we'll show you our trees, what we did end up getting at a nursery. Again, we got it at a discount. We are taking home the less desirable trees because it's, you know, just for our berm. We're not concerned about it looking all pretty right now because it's all in what you do with your hands and your knowledge to bring life back to it. So I think we spent $100, was it?
Yeah, like $130 something, and we'll show you all that we got.
Yeah, we'll do that on here shortly.
Yeah. All right, tell us what you got going on here.
Well, my husband, he got me a real nice gift.
Gold, right?
He got me some gold.
Gold, the whole truckload of gold right here, black gold.
Yeah, I'm not talking about necklace, bracelet. I'm talking about the real deal, the real gold, the black gold. Woo! That was fun.
We'll get going. You're not done yet.
Oh, I know. I know.
Whose bright idea was it to sell the dump truck? Here we are. We are talking about the trees that we got from the nursery. And we got these from the discount section of the nursery, all except this one. This one we paid a wholesale price for. It is a Carolina cedar, right? You know what it was? And so you can see, put it in the ground, it'll be probably 8 feet almost. And it's a good, 5.5, 6 feet wide. But then look, we got another one, another Carolina cedar. But this one, we only paid $7 for. Right? And these, we only paid like $3 for each of these 3 rows of plants here. So we've got 2 different kinds of Loropetalum, and then we got some abelias here, 2 different kinds of abelias, 3 and 3. And yeah, you can see that they're leafing out all the way to their tips. A little bit not there, but I think these are going to do really well.
So explain
these
how
are leafed all the way
you
to their
know
tips.
if it's a good.
Look at all the buds. Look at all the new leaves coming on for this year. So these got hit back kind of hard, and the abelias traditionally do. We had really cold temperatures this winter for 2 years in a row. So these were outside at the nursery, and they got hit back. So the nursery can't really sell these to landscapers to put on somebody's property because people are going to look at it and say, oh, it looks like it's half dead. Well, it's not half dead. Look at the glass, half full. And if you look, even over here on the Loropetalum, just look at the end of these branches. You got the flower buds coming out there. Look at it all down here. It's about to bloom crazy. So it's very, very healthy. And these are going to take off once we get them in our berm. But yeah, so we got all this. Oh, we got this cherry laurel here too, which is going to be about 5 feet planted, 5.5 feet planted. It's a little thin, but you know what? That's what they look like this time of year. Kind of. So I think once that gets a nice home in the ground, it's going to do real well. And then from the Arbor Day celebration here in Canton, we got some of these. So these are elderberries. This row, that's from my mother's elderberry that I trimmed back for cuttings or whatever. And then, but these are crepe myrtles here. They're all pink. This is a catawba, which is a special tree around here, which is going to do real well, I think, if we ever get a pond. What this is known for is hosting caterpillars, a certain kind of catawba caterpillar, and then you have the moth. But those caterpillars, when they emerge, they'll fall. You're supposed to plant this near the water. They fall into the water, and it's like candy for fish. They just love the worms. So this gets planted near the bank of the water. And then we've got red buds here. These 4 red buds. We've got a couple little those are dogwoods over there. And these are persimmon trees, these 2 here. And this one here is, what is it called? I got it all written down elsewhere. Sourwood. So it's a pretty tree. So we'll see. It's got a nice reddish stem to it. We'll see what it looks like when it gets up a little bigger.
And so are these things that you seeded, or not seeded, but cuttings?
These were bare root saplings.
Okay.
That we got for free. And we wanted to plant them on our berm, but last week, the reason we had to put them in containers is because last week we were measuring for where our berm should be based on where the DOT put their property markers. And 2 things, we found a discrepancy, and so we have to rectify that before we can build a fence and so forth. And the other thing is that where I already started building the berm last fall is maybe just a little bit too far out. We'll pull it in just a little bit so we can get the peak of the berm pretty much right on the property line. But we'll have to work with that. And then we can get some of this stuff planted. Hopefully we can do that here this spring. But you can turn around and you can see how things are taking off here a little bit. Some of these cover crops that we planted. We've got wheat over here. We've got a clover here. And I think this is ryegrass over here. And then we got patches of that all through here, all up there, all up through there, all in the back over here. We've done these patches of cover crops. And what those are going to do is help keep the soil active and alive during the wintertime, keep the microbes happy, keep them functioning, so that when we get ready to plant, the soil's going to be ready to go. The other thing that we did is we deep mulched. So we put about 6 inches of mulch through some of these other beds. And so we've kind of done both of these methods over the years. And we're still not sure which one we'd like best. But they're both pretty easy to put the beds to bed, as you could say, in the fall or early winter. But you can see it keeps the weeds out because you got stuff actively growing. There's mulch covering. There's really no weeds there that we have to deal with yet. And it really keeps that weed pressure down. And then we don't have to dig any of this up. We just dig a little space and plant. And these ground covers can pretty much stay in place.
Yeah, let's show them the progress we've made on the clover up front.
Oh yeah. So you want to go? All right, we're going to do a little experiment here. We're going to test this compost that we just got. And we're going to test it to make sure that there's no problems with it. Now, if we kill stuff out here, it's not really that big of a deal. So what I want to do is we're just going to sling this out here a little bit in a patch. Right? And we're going to see if the grass grows better in this patch or if it dies. Kind of a little semicircle, right? And then we'll do one on the berm up here.
because it's actually pretty green up through here.
There you go.
It should be very prominent as to whether or not it worked or not. It's either going to be super green in 2 weeks, mark the date, about the 7th, 8th, I think. It's either going to be super green or super dead, one of the two.
So this is white clover, is it not?
Red clover on the berm, red clover, or white clover on the ground, on the flat part.
So it's real pretty in certain areas.
There's ryegrass on the ground too.
Oh, that's right. There's rye mixed in with this. Okay. So, yeah, it's a combination of, like he said, rye and the clover. And we're just trying to get this area, the biochemistry of it, I guess, to come back a little bit better, because we planted on here last year and it didn't, our corn didn't do as well. So I don't know if we're going to plant on it this year. Eventually that might potentially be like a parking area in front of our house. This is the red clover that we put on. Not really a big difference. I know this probably isn't entertaining that much to some, but it is to us because we can kind of document it, of what we're doing and how things look and how long it took, etc. You know, sometimes I come up here and our garden just looks unattractive. And I know it's in its dormant phase, but sometimes it just takes faith the size of a mustard seed. Thanks for watching.